Hey, welcome to the Unshakable Life podcast. Real, raw, and vulnerable. That's what we are. We've got a pretty good one set for you today. Let's jump right into it. Amber, we were talking about hesitation versus procrastination. And I really think you have a lot of incredible ideas to add. I can't wait to hear what you have to share over this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, just a reminder, this is part of that toxic top 10 that we've been working through, right? These mindsets and behaviors that keep us stuck in cycles of self sabotage. And so we've been exposing them one by one. And today we're going to expose. So hesitation and procrastination are both on the list. They also seem to go hand in hand a lot. And so for me, hesitation is this spot of like, I'm not really sure what to do, or I'm not really sure how to start, right? Like there's an uncertainty that causes me to hesitate. And then I think on procrastination, what I hear when I hear people who are procrastinating is, I know I really need to, but I just don't want to, or I haven't made time, right? And then there is, let's just call it out, there is an excuse. And so I have never, when I hear someone say, I know I really need to, there's no uncertainty there. They know what they need to do. For some reason, they're not doing it, and I think that could be so many things. And so it's interesting to think about talking about these together because they're both toxic traits that keep us stuck for sure. But I think they're both very differently motivated and require a little bit of digging into each of them. And because I would hate to, if you are hesitant, Rebecca, can I tell on you for a minute? So
Go for it.
we're prepping for today, and this sweet friend of mine needs to record some reels, and she knows she needs to do it, and she's talking about it, and I'm not hearing procrastination. I'm actually hearing hesitation because there is an uncertainty on how does this turn out? How do I step into this authentically, right? Like there's that uncertainty there that's causing you to hesitate. Not once when we were talking about that did I think that you're procrastinating. There is an uncertainty there that's blocking that forward motion. And so if you're hesitating and someone throws a procrastination label on that, how painful is that? Right? Like if while you were talking to me about this, I was like, well, just stop procrastinating. It sounds like you're procrastinating. How would you have felt?
Oversimplification.
Yeah. Because inside you're like, but wait a minute, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. And so as your friend, I think it's important that I can know the difference between hesitation and procrastination so that I'm not mislabeling it, because mislabeling is misattunement, and a misattunement is so painful. It's so incredibly painful. And so I just want to clarify that for our listeners, that if you're stuck in hesitation, don't walk away from this and be like, I'm procrastinating. Don't do that. We're not here to do that. We're here to help you know the difference. And then let's discover along the way what it is you need to either step out of hesitation or step out of procrastination. But we have to have the right label. We have to know what's going on before we throw a blanket statement on this.
That's interesting what you said, because when you were talking, I was just about to throw it out at you. Like, am I hesitating or procrastinating right now? Which one? And I think I needed to sit and identify it. I can think of a time where I absolutely hesitated, and I know it's hesitation. And what it was we had to do a water crossing on a hike, and it was a pretty decent sized water crossing. And I really like dry shoes and dry clothing when I'm going to go on that long of a hike, right? And my husband's like, we just got to climb over these sticks. Sometimes like in a water flow, a bunch of pile of sticks will just gather in one place. And he's like, if we just jump around on these sticks and we'll make it over. And for me, I hesitated because I didn't quite know the path that I needed to take to get there. And I didn't really trust the footing that I was like, how do you know this isn't going to drop out from under you? Right. And so that was definitely a hesitation. And I needed to sit there and just kind of look at it, strategize, maybe make a plan, trust my husband because he's the outdoorsy woodsman guy. He's been here, done this, right? And then eventually I went, and now I don't hesitate. Procrastinate. So to me, hesitation has a little bit of self doubt in it
Hmm.
when I thought of it that way. And then when I think about procrastination, a lot of times it's like, I know exactly what I need to do, but maybe there's a story there. Maybe there's fear there. Something's driving me to be like, I've got other priorities. I'm so busy. There's the excuse, right? And so I think you might be right. You usually are, but I think you might be right. I'm hesitating because I have not yet found a clear path to cross this successfully. Like, so say making these reels is like that river, and I'm seeing these piles of sticks, and there's different ways to get across it. And I've been trying different ways, and some of them, like they fall through, and it doesn't work. And I haven't quite found the path that works for me, that that will hold my weight per se. And so I was just thinking of that. And for context, guys, reels, I suck at them. I'm trying them, but I'm not good at it. And there's different reasons for that. I do so much better in the midst of a conversation. Like, get a conversation going. We're off and running. It feels authentic to me. Or I can, speak from the stage, but to actually just talk at a camera alone in a room by myself, it's just been a real challenge to be authentic in the middle of that. Or, to say a very specific message, because I used to preach for a living. It's very hard to get something down to 1 minute, right? And to tile that is like, oh, 1 minute, how do I do that? And so there is this like, how do I even do this and still really be myself? Because core value of mine is authenticity. It really is important to me. I always want to be me in every situation, because how can I help my clients to step into who they truly are in each of their main life areas if I'm not stepping into who I truly am? And so I really hold myself on a high standard of that. And so I think, boy, I'm hesitating because I just don't see the path to cross this river.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that example too. And I think, like, as you're talking, when we're standing on the brink and we're hesitating, we actually need more. We need to gather something in order to make an informed decision to move forward. Right? And so at the brink of this river crossing, you're like, I need to gather some security that I'm not going to fall in. I need to gather, and I could like imagine you, we've been friends long enough. I can imagine you standing there and like eyeing, I'm going to put my foot here and then I'm going there next. And then after that is that, right? Like you have to have that path. And so when we're in the middle of hesitation, we need to gather something, whether it's more resource, whether, maybe in life it's more experience. I think those are the times where it's like we more information even. And, for us around here, information is great, but it doesn't mean transformation. And so we're not huge on like, yeah, go gather more information. But I think when we're hesitating, maybe that is exactly what you need is some more information. How is this going to work? Even thinking through pros and cons, or right, like what's going to happen if I fall in? Like what's the worst case scenario? Right? Sometimes we need that those thought processes, that place to process before we can step out of hesitation. And the other thing I was thinking was, it's so funny, and I think this is just for us to keep in the back of our minds, is that what each person hesitates about is going to be different based
Mm-hmm.
on their personality, their experience, right? And so, because I also know your husband, and I could see him being like, we got it. And off
Yep.
he goes.
That's
And
exactly what happened.
maybe he's not afraid of wet shoes for the rest of the hike, right? Maybe it doesn't impact him the same way, or maybe, like for whatever reason, but giving each personality a place to like, oh, your hesitation is real and that's okay. But also recognizing that there are going to be different places. And so I think I'm sharing that to like, let's take off any of the judgments, because I think it can be
Yeah.
easy with a topic like this to be like, right, but she wrote her book and I'm sitting down at the computer and I don't know where to start. Right? We can't if we stay stuck in that comparison, we're going to stay stuck. Like that should be a toxic top 10, this comparison.
It's the thief of joy.
Yes, like it will
Mm.
destroy us. But then also if you're the kind that doesn't hesitate over one thing, not looking down on others who are stuck in hesitation, but being able to come alongside and like, "Hey, what information do you need in order to cross this? What do you need in order to take the first step?" I think
Yeah,
it's
that's so
important.
good. I love these talks that we're having, not just for making a podcast, but we have these ahs ourselves in the middle of the conversation. Because some of these conversations we just not had before.
Yeah.
And to be able to put that together is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. So what do you think, Amber? What is the one thing that really needs to be discussed today on this topic?
Yeah, I feel like it really is that awareness. Are you
Mm.
hesitating or are you procrastinating? And then what is the step out of that? And I think we've hit it with hesitation, right? The step is to gather the information, sit down with a best friend. Like, I need to record these reels and I don't know where to start. Like, can we talk about this? Yes. And here's some out of the box ideas or whatever, right? Like, yeah. And so I wonder, Rebecca, is there anything else for you that would help our viewers or even ourselves to step out of hesitation?
It's interesting because it really seems to vary on the situation. I think in that moment we have to stop and say, what's the story I'm telling myself about
Mm,
this?
yeah.
You know, because for me, I'm like, there's the stories. I don't really want to walk the next 8 miles in wet shoes and wet clothing. And it's kind of chilly out today. That wouldn't be very fun. Or like, I'm going to ruin the entire hike if I, or we could get her. There's so many stories that hit in that moment. And so I have to, I think, identify what is the story I'm telling myself, both in procrastination and in hesitation,
Yeah.
is what is the story I'm telling myself? And then is to actually put that through an inquiry and say, is that true?
Right.
Like, is that story I'm telling myself true? And sometimes it might be, yeah, if I fall in, that's really going to suck. I mean, truthfully. And so is to find out. I always talk about we got to get to the thing that's behind the thing. There's always behavior is never the issue. And talking about those things that are behaviors, those are just symptoms of something that's going on behind the scenes. Something is driving that behavior. So it's to look at, okay, why am I hesitating right now?
Yeah.
And what what is going to empower me to overcome the hesitation to do what needs to be done? So it is to gather that and
Mm,
to sit with it a minute and give yourself grace to understand, okay, what's actually happening. So many of us, we cast it off to, oh, I'm a procrastinator. Oh my gosh, now we've made an identity around it. I am a procrastinator. And you know how much you're going to procrastinate because you've now set your internal thermostat to
yeah.
procrastinate. And then we just throw it off as like, I'm just a procrastinator. This is what I do. And we never really look at it. We just keep pushing things off. And then I'm thinking about all the time that is lost
Mm,
when impact could be made and, lives changed. And I mean, at least in our field,
yeah.
our procrastination costs more than just time,
Yeah.
even though time is our most valuable resource. Because once you spend time, you can never get it back. Once you spend money, you can
Yeah.
earn it back. But all of a sudden 50 years has gone by or whatever, and maybe you haven't done what you've always wanted to do because there's a story that's holding you back. And then the question is that true? Because a lot of us are telling ourselves untrue stories to hold ourselves back. And it's that again, I think that self-doubt comes in.
Yeah.
So, and maybe it is, what do I not want to feel? What am I avoiding
Mm,
feeling? That might be a good question to ask. So for me, I think I just ran back into my coaching hat of what, like, what are the right questions? Because the quality of your life is going to be determined by the quality questions you ask yourself. If you're just saying, I'm a procrastinator, or one of the really good ones too is like, I'm probably just not supposed to do it, and like, oh, maybe God doesn't want me to do this because I feel some tension in my gut or something. And it's like, oh, you're blaming God for your hesitation and your
Yes,
procrastination. Come
yes.
on, what is going on? And maybe you're not supposed to do it, but there's a very big difference in I'm uncomfortable, and that uncomfortableness is going to cause growth, or I'm really not supposed to do it. And I would just bet that most of the time it has to do with I'm feeling uncomfortable, so I
Mm,
feel icky in my tummy. So I just, and that I'm really supposed to do it. I'm
yeah,
really supposed to, because it's going to grow me. It's happening for me. It's going to happen through me, and everything will be as it should.
yeah,
And I just need to step into that growth. I hate the fear zone. I want to stay comfy.
yeah,
And so we're so looking to meet our need for certainty that we're just stuck. What is the word today? I think every AI engine is making it spiraling. Stop spiraling. Stop spinning your wheels, right? And surely there's better things than that. But I'm telling you, ChatGPT says that on the daily, not on the hourly, they put that out. But that is true. We're going on this merry-go-round, round and around and around again to the
yeah,
same place until we choose to learn the lesson that we need to learn, or to step into what we need to step into.
yeah. I think you hit it too, that like what the need that's driving both procrastination and hesitation is certainty. If I step on this log, it's not going to fall, right? Like I'm going to keep my shoes dry, all of that. And so recognizing even that might be the driving need. And what are ways that you can meet that need regardless of whether or not the log falls, regardless of whatever happens. That is the key. How are you going to meet your own need for security in the midst of that? And I think that that helps us to unlock this prison of hesitation and procrastination, because now we can step out and do things that we want to do, and make the difference. It's interesting when I think about procrastination. I think I mentioned this. I think about excuses because there's always an excuse, right? And so I wonder if we
It's
want to
a
take a moment.
reason.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder if we want to take a moment and just to unpack for a moment this idea of these excuses, because we all have them. We all hide behind them. And boy, are they keeping us stuck.
Yeah, I think right as you said that, one of my main excuses is I don't know how.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit there with it for a very long period of time. Or I've tried it so many times and I keep failing at it. So
Mm,
I don't really have any expectation of doing it right this time. That's my excuse right now with the reels, I think, honestly, because I've
right.
I've been working on this for like a year and a half, because there's nothing that bugs me more is to come off inauthentic, or
Yeah.
because then that's not truth about me, which it's like, if it's being received inauthentically, even though the words were written authentically, then it almost is like a false accusation to myself.
Mm,
It's like, that's not me. That doesn't accurately represent me. And so I certainly don't want to do it, but yet still not winning at that thing. Right. And so I'm like,
yeah.
I have no expectation that this is ever going to work, as I think the where it is at.
Yes. Yeah. 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 And I think those excuses can run as deep and wide as, from the I don't have time, I'm too busy with my family, there's other expectations on me, um, to the I don't know how. But it all comes down to it's a block. It is blocking us from moving forward. It's keeping us stuck. Uh, And so, what do we do with those excuses?
I just thought of something else. What would you say is the difference between making an excuse and actually asserting a boundary?
Mm. Whew. That's a good question.
Like, here's a for instance, for me, everybody has told me that I should go out and record my hikes on Saturdays, the mountain hikes, and record reels from there and just talk from the top of the mountain. And I tried it for a short period of time. And I feel like it's a boundary where I'm like, it is the one day a week where I don't have to have my ever loving phone and computer near me.
Yeah.
And there's no signal up there anyway, so there's no lives going to be done, right? But for me, it's a nope, I don't, nope. It's so is that an excuse or a boundary? For me, I feel like it's a boundary.
Yeah, I think it is too, because this is, those boundaries are, this is what I'm going to do. I protect Saturdays.
Yep.
I'm not attached to my phone on Saturdays, right? Like those are limits that you have defined that are important to you. And so that is the boundary. I think it would be an excuse, Rebecca, if you were saying, well, this is the only way I can record a reel is by my face in my office. I'm not doing anything else, right? Like, but you're not saying that. You're not giving this hard line of, no, I will not record a reel anywhere besides my office. That's right. Or even the reason behind it, which is interesting, because you have this, I protect this time and space. And I think an excuse would just be like, I don't want to, right? For no other reason than I'm not doing that. But you have a reason behind it. And see, this is where it gets nuanced and tricky, right? Because for like moms of kids at home, the kids can be the reason, right? Like, I actually can't go out with my friends on Wednesday night because we have this, and this in the family. And my priority is to be a mom and to be present for my kids. Or it can become an excuse where it's, well, my kids have something. And so it's almost like we have to pull back a deeper layer. What's going on inside of me? Why am I not participating in whatever's being offered? What's the real reason? And that can take some deep work. And honestly, we can start off with, well, this is the reason. And then things happen, things evolve, we learn ourselves a little bit more, and then all of a sudden we're like, well, crap, maybe that was an excuse. But once we have that awareness, we can do something different.
The awareness is huge. I know a couple of great coaches that could help people do that. But that awareness is huge because what you don't measure, you can't manage.
Yeah,
So whatever you're not aware of, then it just runs rampant in your life. And all of a sudden it's years later and you have never really stepped out into what your heart desire is.
yeah,
And I've watched that make a really big difference for my clients. I mean, case in point here is, I know a woman who she coached with me while she was writing her book. And the end result was she wrote her book, she launched it. We helped her launch it, like to
yeah,
really get the word out about it so she could increase her sales. And it went really well. Case number two is there was a man who he was intending to write a book for over 10 years. I actually know two people that are doing this. Is I'm supposed to write this book and there's always some sort of reason why it couldn't be accomplished. And it breaks my heart to say that this person has now passed away and their book will never be written. That story that had so much value in it, the incredible things that needed to be shared with the world were not actually written down to be able to pass forward because of he was not coaching. He wasn't working with somebody to keep that trajectory going. That's a kind of major difference it can have to to, to have somebody pushing you forward versus not pushing you forward. Here's another one that's like that. She's been writing a book for goodness gracious, a lot of years. And the wall is like absolutely covered with the post-it notes and all the things in the process. She spent thousands of dollars already, even with a publisher, and still not doing it. And then there's a reason. And it breaks my heart to watch people not launch what they could launch, not actually put their message out into the world, not
Yeah.
just holding back because they're sitting in these reasons, excuses, blame, all of these things that are keeping them hesitating and procrastinating until it's too late and it'll never happen. I feel that way about my mom. There's stuff she really left undone, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, what can we do to use that word now? Like, when is now a good time?
Yeah.
And to stop letting these things hold us back in because inevitably that'll actually make it to never happen. And that breaks my heart and lights me up, the both. Because like I know that people who really invest in themselves can have such an incredible contribution into the planet when they actually step into the fear zone and through it and in that growth zone. And then I know some people who are going to choose to stay small because they want to stay in that certainty and that comfort and obviously going away from pain towards pleasure is, oh, I feel safe and secure, but they don't realize how much pleasure is after going through that fear zone. It's like, guys, the time is now. It's always now. So maybe there's times where it's, hey, we need to gather and understand. Like for me, I've tried like so many ways to record. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, what's another way? And we just keep trying. Maybe I need something that's going to finally click, right? But maybe, just maybe, there's something inside of you that you haven't tapped into yet because of that hesitating, because of fear, because of wanting to have certainty be in your circumstances instead of being solid inside of you. Like, where is this coming from? And it really reminds me of this like notion of same action, different meaning,
Mm.
different, so same action, hesitation can mean I'm scared and I'm holding back and I'm keeping myself small. Or it can mean, hey, I need to get some more information to make a really wise choice in this.
Yeah.
But it's the same action, just different thing that's driving that action. And so what is that thing that's driving you to stall or to put it aside for another day? They do say, do the hardest thing the first thing in the morning, right? Do that and just get it out of the way. And it is cathartic. It's like, oh yeah, I got that done. Everything else today is going to be a breeze because I got that thing done. So I don't know. There's just some thoughts that are just popping up of
Yeah.
what's causing that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. And really it comes down to that what is motivating you, right? Because you're talking about this hesitation over recording reels, but I'm seeing you consistently put in effort that will push it forward. And so it's not even the hesitation of like, I know I need to record these today and I'm not quite sure what to do, or I need a new thing, to you are continuously taking action and asking questions of people and advice that is going to move it forward. And I think that is the difference, right? Like, so it's not the shame and the hesitation, but it is like, if you're just going to stay stuck in it, like you clearly crossed the river that day hiking or you wouldn't be here. Right. And so you made the choice, like you propelled yourself forward. And I think we're really getting down to what is motivating you
Yes.
as you are standing on the brink of whatever you're standing on the brink of. Is it fear? Are you afraid? And what are you afraid of? For I think the other motivation is love. And when we're motivated by love of ourselves, for ourselves, right? Like, and we're going to step forward. And because I have something to offer the world, love for the people that we're going to offer it to, love for the greater good, right? Like there's all of these love can just grow and grow and grow. And when I'm motivated by love, there's no room for fear. Like it's that it kind of pushes out that fear so that I can show up authentically. And a lot of times, especially in clients that we're seeing, they're not showing up authentically because of hesitation or procrastination. Right. And so
Yes.
even your clients that are sitting on books that they want to write. And the lady that you're talking about that has all these post-it notes and she, she's ready to go. She's got everything in place, but she's not bringing her authentic self to the world. And so the question then becomes, what are you afraid of? where is that fear holding you back? And I think that's one thing I'm finding more and more with my coaching clients too. And even in my own life, like if we can shine a flashlight on that fear and bring it to the light and be aware of it, there's something really powerful about that because it motivates us more than we'd like to admit. But it only wins when it's in the dark. It only wins when it stays hidden. And if you, as some people, we know people that we can ask them that question, what are you afraid of? We can talk about their fear, and then they're not going to do anything different. At that point, that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
And that's sad. But we love working with people who are like, no, reveal it. Like, let's find that fear so that I can do something about it. And that's how we both live too. It's not just, oh, look, cool fear, but it's fear. You don't belong here anymore. We're going to get rid of you. And I'm going to choose to be motivated by something different.
Yeah. And I think really one last thing I want to bring up before we end is part of the magic elixir to overcome procrastination and hesitation. It's really your emotional state,
Yeah.
guys. It really, truly is. And I never experienced so clearly as to when had to walk on fire. So they get these big orange hot coals, and you just walk barefoot over them. And of course, yes, you can get burned, and some people did. And I thought it was really interesting and fascinating to watch because the people who were in the right state, meaning they had their body was set and ready to go. They were feeling strong. They were totally present in the moment, and they were determined, right? And the story they're telling themselves, they can do it. And what were they focused on is, I'm going to step out and do this now. Those people would walk over the coals and not get burnt. It was very interesting to watch. You'd be right in the middle of, say, like, I think it was like 15, 20 feet of coals that we did. Right in the middle of it, when you become aware and it's starting to like occur to you that you're on the coals, that's when you get burnt.
Wow.
It's when you're paying attention to all the circumstances around you that you start to get burnt. And, you know, it was just interesting to watch. Some people would get no problem whatsoever. Some people had little blisters on their feet, and some people came out with full foot blisters. And the fascinating part about that, it was all linked to, no hesitation, totally focused, telling yourself the right story, doing the right things with your body. It is that, how do you create the right emotional position where you're completely focused and you can walk in, you're not concerned about all the stuff going on around you. You're focused in and dialed in on what you're going to do right now. And so I was able to walk over those coals. Right towards 3/4 of the way through, there was maybe a tenth of a second where I went, and I won't say the word on a podcast. And I was like, I am walking on fire right now. And that's where I got a blister on my foot, is in that moment. So I encourage you guys, like, this is what we do in Unshakable Life Community. This is what we do in our coaching sessions, is we have to be in the right state. And that is, what are you focusing on? What story are you telling yourself? And how are you handling your body in that situation? Makes 1,000,000% of difference.
Yeah.
If you want to step in from hesitating and holding back to fully stepping out in what you truly are capable of. And I guarantee you, I don't know some of you that might be listening, but I guarantee you that you were made for a lot more than you're showing up for right now.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. I just want to do a plug too for just having the right people in your corner.
Yeah.
And so, just a quick story. At my age, I know I should be lifting weights, right? Like, that will be a healthy habit. I need that strength in my bones. And I'd been thinking about it for a few months, but wasn't quite sure where to start, honestly. Like, there was some real hesitation because I'm like, I don't know. I haven't done this since I was a kid, right? Like, I don't know. One of my 14-year-old boys started going to the gym because he was bulking for wrestling. And then his twin brother started going with him. And so I'm dropping him off at the gym, a few times a week. And they come home from school one day and they're like, hey, Mom, do you have anything going on tonight? And I'm like, nope. They're like, will you come to the gym with us? Bingo. Now I have no reason for the hesitation. Why? I still went into the gym not knowing what I was doing, right? But I had 2 guides, honestly. And they said, "Mom, you can just follow us and do what we do." And sure enough, I would watch them on the machine or whatever, and I learned from them. Even the gym culture of
Mhm.
cleaning up afterwards and, all of that stuff. They had been there long enough. They had already been in that gym. They had met people there. They were acclimated. And so they invite me to come along with them, and I learned from them. And now I can go by myself because I know the culture. I know how to work the machines, right? And so I just think there's something really interesting. If you're recognizing hesitation or procrastination, you got to get the right people in your life.
Mhm.
And you got to get someone who's been there, who can help to guide you through that. Because if we're honest, this could be overwhelming to do by yourself. And I don't think you guys know us by now well enough to know we don't do anything by ourselves when it comes to inner work and growth and healing, right? Because we know that there's value in doing it together. And
Mhm.
so, whether it's a hesitation to go to the gym or to write the book or to cross the creek or to record the reel, don't do it alone.
Mhm.
This is we're not doing that anymore. No lone rangers, right? We are going to do it better together. And there are people that have been there before and can help you walk through that. And so that I was just thinking about that like, oh man, I could have stayed stuck. If it wasn't for my boys, I don't think that I would be going to the gym. But because I had 2 guides, because I had that, I found some security. I found some certainty in knowing that they had already gone before me.
Mhm.
And so I borrowed it. That's what encouragement is, right? I borrowed their courage and I went to the gym with them and I haven't looked back.
I love that. And to be really real and plain, there is absolutely no freaking way I would have crossed that creek if my husband wasn't there with me.
See, yeah,
Not gonna happen. In fact, there's a lot of things I would not have accomplished had I not had him with me. Some of the peak hikes and things, and I've got stories of the one time I thought I would be super just go by myself and I got in trouble and I'm calling him like, "Can you come back and help me?" because I get in too much trouble myself.
yes.
So you can take so much more risk when you have a guide because a
Mhm.
guide knows that the risks are calculated risks and they're not going to kill you. They're made to make you
Yeah.
and to grow you. So what a beautiful metaphor, Amber. Thank you so much for sharing that today. So any last words before we close up this episode?
No, this was a fun one. It's fun. I've got some stuff to look at, I think, in my own life. Is it hesitation and procrastination? And what am I afraid of? So we're learning and
Yeah.
growing too.
I love this track that we're on, and guys, before we step on this episode, we just figure out what the topic is that we're going to talk about today. Like, okay, which one of the toxic 10 do you want to cover today? And we're just playing from just real and raw and right in the moment here
Yeah.
with you. So I hope you enjoyed just stepping into an amazing conversation between two best friends today that'll hopefully push you forward to where you really want to go, to who you really want to be, to really up level your life in every single way. So we look forward to seeing you next time. We'll talk to you later.